Godzilla is now in New York City.
Monster 01 and 02, commence the attack.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to Stomp This Way.
Yeah.
Andrew, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We got quite the treat for for the listeners this week. It's a movie that probably shouldn't exist, but
No, it
but does.
shouldn't exist.
it doesn't really exist as a movie.
No.
But anyway, Andrew, what are we reviewing today?
Unfortunately, it's Grizzly II Revenge.
Grizzly II Revenge. Revenge on the viewers. I don't but yeah, or if you want some working titles, Grizzly II The Predator or Grizzly II The Concert. Is it a musical? I don't know. I looked into the genres on I think I was looking at when I was letterboxing it on Letterboxd, and I do think I think musical was one of the genres that was tagged. It has a lot of music.
It has music.
It's a concert film, at least half of it. But yeah, so I've kind of hinted at it last couple of podcasts, but this was a very troubled production, and it was a movie that was canned. It was shelved, lost to time before somebody in the modern day decided to rescue it and sort of put it together and release it as a film. But anyway, you ready for some production trivia?
Give it to me.
So early on in the production, the co-producer by the name of Joe Proctor ran off with all the production budget money. So they were in trouble from the start. So the other producer, Suzanne Nagy, was able to find a Japanese investor who put just enough money into finished principal photography. And so they shot the film over the course of 45 days in Hungary in 1983. But after the shooting, the Hungarian government seized production equipment for non-payment of bills. So they never completed the post-production process. But the film, it was stored. Canon Group bought the film in 1987 and had planned to finish and release it, but then Canon Group got into some financial troubles and they shelved that project. But then in, I think it was 2007, a work print of the movie, some illegally surfaced online. And so, up until then, a lot of people were dubious that the movie even existed, but its existence was confirmed. So, and I think Suzanne Nagy was involved in the kind of salvaging of this movie. Post-production was completed in early 2020. It was purchased by Gravitas Pictures. I was wrong. I thought this was something that was bought by Netflix to distribute, but it's not a Netflix original, quote unquote.
No.
It is. It was actually bought by this Gravitas Pictures. Netflix just has it licensed right now. And they did a VOD release, or they bought it in December 2020 with the intention of doing a VOD release. The concert scene was shot after a live performance by Nazareth. The crowd was unaware that the following act was a fake band and they were being recorded for a film. I read something, it was like the largest post-World War II gathering of people in Hungary at that time or something like that. Charlie Sheen. Now this is funny to me. I mean, I had a hard time believing it at first, but I checked it a couple of sources and I guess it's real. Charlie Sheen actually had to turn down the role of Daniel LaRusso in Karate Kid, Danielson, because he had signed on to do this movie. And apparently I think he had thought about backing out of it, and this is before like the producer ran off with the money and all that. But his dad's Martin Sheen, and whatever you think of Martin these days, he is kind of an old school Hollywood guy. And I guess he's like, no, you're going to honor your contract. And so he flew to Hungary to do this movie. I think looking back on it, he probably wishes he'd have just said, F the contract, you can sue me. I'm going to go star in Karate Kid.
Yeah.
But anyway, apparently the producer like ran off with the money like the day after, like Charlie, Laura, and George flew into Hungary. But by all accounts, the producer Nagy that stayed around said that they were really good sports about it. They helped the crew out a lot around set and stuff. Now they only have, even though the opening credits will, like in this new 2020 version, will only credit them at the beginning of the movie. They are only in like the opening sequence, and that's it. So they're not the stars of the movie by any means, but you wouldn't know that by the way they play them up and marketed it and played up in the opening credit sequence. But anyway, the sets were built on a Russian military base in Budapest.
Wow.
Ooh. The film's second unit director, who was supposed to shoot the concert sequence, had a nervous breakdown before shooting and was unable to continue on the film. An animatronic grizzly was created for the movie, but they were unable to get it to work properly. Classic, always happens with these animatronic animals. They were going to create a new bear with special effects. I don't know if that was going to be like stop animated or what, but obviously because post-production never took place, it never happened.
Yeah.
But anyway, Andrew, what do we know about the box office? Quote
It was
unquote
released
box office.
January 8th, 2021.
Yeah.
And they had a budget of reportedly $7.5 million, but I guess that's the money he stole.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried it because I saw that number in a couple different places, 7.5 million, but I couldn't really trace it back to a real source.
I don't know what they did with $7.5 million.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was the original budget that the guy ran off with, or if that includes like the money they kind of put in for like the re-release and restoring it and filming new footage, which I mean they didn't spend a lot of money on. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But so I don't know how accurate that number is, and if it is accurate, $7.5 million would have been a lot of money for a creature feature in 1983 filming in Hungary.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That number is probably inflated. But obviously, it did not all make it to the screen.
No.
Did not all make it to the screen. But anyway, let's listen to a trailer, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about the cast and crew. We'll talk about the plot summary, and then we'll dive into what went wrong with Grizzly II: Revenge. See you in a bit.
Now.
Grizzly killed again. 3 kids this time.
I don't want a cloud of fear on this concert. Now you get that, Grizzly, and get it now.
This grizzly's claw marks reach 18 feet off the ground. 27 inches the rear pads, 18 inches the fore. On firm soil, 3 inches deep.
Very bad. You got the devil bear.
Come on, you son of a bitch!
there you have it, listeners. Grizzly II, Revenge.
Boom.
Well, this was directed by Andre Schultz, written by David Sheldon and Joan McCall, effects by Nick Maley, and starring Steve Inwood, Deborah Raffin, Louise Fletcher, John Rhys-Davies, Dick Anthony Williams, Edward Meeks, Deborah Foreman, Nigel Dolman, George Clooney, Laura Dern, and Charlie Sheen. And the plot summary, I think, is as follows, but good luck following the editing in this movie because it is something.
It's atrocious.
When a poacher kills the cub of a giant female grizzly, the enraged bear embarks on a murderous rampage, claiming the lives of the poacher himself and 3 unsuspecting teens on a camping trip. Forest Ranger Nick is determined to stop the beast, but Bear Management Director Sam opposes killing it. As the death toll rises, Nick recruits professional trapper Bouchard to help track and eliminate the bear. Meanwhile, Park Superintendent Eileen Dragon pressures them to resolve the crisis quickly before a major rock concert is set to take place. After Deputy Pete and another group of poachers fall victim to the grizzly, the bear makes its way to the concert grounds. Nick, Sam, and Bouchard confront it there, but Bouchard is killed in a failed attempt to stab the creature. In a final showdown, Nick lures the bear into the high voltage wires supplying the concert, electrocuting and killing it. Unaware of the true danger, Dragon and her guests mistake the chaos for part of the performance as the credits roll. I think? I don't know really what happened
And
at the end.
Those poachers were the same poachers with the other guy.
Huh?
The poachers were the same group of poachers.
Same group of poachers as what?
It's the dude that got killed.
The guy that got killed at the beginning?
Yeah, remember that was the whole thing. They said that was his brother.
Yeah, whatever.
It was the same group.
Whatever.
Of poachers.
It did whatever. Poachers die.
Oh yeah, they all died brutally, actually.
Well,
Wow.
most of them die like in poorly edited
Yeah.
clip shots. I don't even know really what
It's
happens.
funny that they just panned up to the guy that's like hung in a tree.
Well, let's start at the beginning, and you're
Yeah.
in for a treat.
What beginning?
You're in for a treat. This opening sequence, which was clearly shot on digital in 2019.
You know those Zen moments on YouTube ads?
Yeah. It's like, one of those nature shots, on YouTube TV, like the Zen commercial breaks. And it's a bunch of nature shots of and drone shots of the forest and then of bears and giraffes, I think, even though there are no giraffes. And no, I don't think there were giraffes. There was deer and something else, but
a raccoon.
I think we're supposed to be in Yellowstone, but nature shots of animals, and then you get this slow-mo shot of this hunter, walking through the woods, and you get all this, and you're like, oh, it's like a nature documentary. And then we have the hunter. I think what we're seeing here is the cub being killed by the poacher.
Yeah.
But what we get is a very poor CGI bullet, quote unquote, hitting this live action cub, and then a very poor CGI blood splatter. And then I guess the mom, who's also a shot of a real bear, also gets hit by this very bad CGI bullet and some very poor blood splatter. And, of course, because they're integrating this with nature footage, you don't see the cub clearly fall over dead or anything. But what I think we're supposed to take from this scene from the dialogue later is this is the cub getting killed.
Yeah.
And now the mama bear's angry. And then is the next scene we cut and we meet George Clooney and Laura Dern. And when does the brother get killed? Does he get killed on screen?
Yeah, remember? He was the one that was in that camp by himself.
Okay.
And then the bear shows up and kills him.
Was that before or after the teenagers got killed?
I don't know the editing. I think it was like in the weird in between time
Yeah. Because I think we cut.
because they were hiking,
Yeah.
and then there was another cut to nature.
Yeah.
Then there was a weird cut to him.
Yeah.
This movie is horribly edited, by the way.
Yeah. We cut, and Laura Dern, Charlie Sheen, and George Clooney, they're only in, like I said, one scene of the movie, basically. They're
Well,
hiking.
Two scenes. Because they cut out of them and come back to them.
Okay, well, it's really just one sequence, though, where they're
Mhm.
hiking to the mountains, and they are stopping for the night, and George Clooney and Laura Dern are going to get it on, so Charlie Sheen goes to sleep by himself, and he walks a little ways, and then, yeah, I think during this period, they're cutting back to the brother getting killed or
Yeah.
whatever. But you know, again, early on, you're like, oh man, this editing is awful.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I don't know if it's just because they have a bad editor but it becomes clear as the movie goes on. They just didn't have the footage, right? This is an
Yeah.
incomplete movie that they're trying to they're literally trying to Frankenstein together an incomplete movie
Yeah.
with some low budget drone nature footage to fill in some runtime, and then later
Yeah.
a whole bunch of concert footage, B-roll concert footage. But yeah, the editing's super choppy, but Charlie Sheen will come back to the camp and he'll see that, as we already saw, that Laura Dern and George Clooney, mostly off screen, get killed by a bear.
Yeah.
And then Charlie Sheen, we are to basically assume also.
Well, we see him.
We see it chase him. And,
We see him chase and get into a cave, then the bear kill him.
yeah, well, another thing is too, they definitely didn't have the bear footage, right?
No.
So there are shots of, and we'll talk about creature design and all that later, but there are shots of an animatronic bear, and I don't know if that was just like the maybe one or two footage reels of the animatronic bear that they shot before they gave up on it. 'Cause it looks like, I think it's like one shot of the animatronic bear that they just recycle over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And then at other times they will cut and just have like footage of a real bear,
Yeah.
but not like last time where it was like a real bear they had on set and they were like, making it do stunts or whatever, or tricking it into doing certain poses or roars and stuff. Just like literally like nature footage of a bear.
Yeah.
That they're cutting in and out, and the lighting's off and it doesn't match the scene at all, but whatever.
And for some reason, it goes into Ultra HD quality.
Yeah, and I will say, I want to give the movie a couple of compliments. They did a really good restoration job on the footage. Like, it's a real good
Clean.
like 2K scan or whatever of the original negatives. Like, the footage looks really good, but you can tell the footage that was shot in the 80s versus the digital footage shot with a drone or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a bit jarring. And it is funny, but basically the plot of the movie, like I said, there's really only about, the movie's 74 minutes. I would say they maybe had 50 minutes of footage shot that they were able to edit together.
Yeah.
And then they had about 25 minutes of stuff they had to make up.
Mm-hmm.
And but the basic plot of the movie is kind of similar to last time. The bear's on a rampage. It's mad about its cub being dead or whatever. And there's the forest rangers, right?
Yeah.
We have Nick and his deputy Pete. And they have, I don't know what her title was. I called her the park superintendent, but similar to the role of the guy last time, played by Louise Fletcher, Nurse Ratched herself.
Yeah.
There's some famous people in this movie. She's planning, I think we're together that she is like stuck at this job, but she wants to get back to Washington. So she's hosting a couple of Washington representatives, reps from Washington or whatever, and she's putting on this rock concert in the middle of Yellowstone Park. But yeah, sure, whatever. And she wants them to deal with this problem before it gets out of hand. She doesn't want the press to know about it. And there's also this character of Samantha. They call her Sam. She's like head of bear management or whatever. And of course, so she's all about preserving the bears and doesn't want to kill the bear and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah. So one of the people start dying and, you know, these characters come together and they're like, we got to stop the bear. And we also do a lot of cutting back to like this concert being put together and this Richard Pryor looking dude.
Yeah.
I thought the Richard Pryor looking dude was like the headliner of the concert, but I guess he's just like the manager. I don't know. I don't know what kind of concert this is. Now they filmed it at a Nazareth concert, but it just, for the purposes of the movie, it just seems like a random collection of like cast off rock bands. They would never draw this kind of crowd in real life.
No.
And that whole thing doesn't really make sense, but whatever. But you can tell what the original movie was supposed to be. The original movie was supposed to be the movie about this bear, you know, mad about its cub, going around killing people, the park rangers trying to stop it, tension between Sam and Nick about how to handle the bear. And it was supposed to build up to this big finale where they had this big concert sequence and the bear was going to storm the concert and cause all kinds of havoc.
But, you know, they never got that much filmed.
But unfortunately, they didn't ever really film the bear stuff. So
the bear stuff. Or they didn't have, I don't think, all the footage of the other stuff either.
No, they clearly don't have like all the coverage shots and kind of in between shots that you would insert shots and all that. That if this were a complete movie, this movie was completed back in the 80s, that they would have. I don't know if they shot it and it was just lost to time or damaged when Hungary seized their assets. Or if they just never shot it at all, or
because you can tell some of the storylines don't go anywhere.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't go anywhere, but they do have John Rhys Davies, right?
Yeah,
and he's playing a quote French Indian. And by the way, John Rhys Davies is a Welsh actor, but he's playing a French Indian dude. He's like a professional bear trapper, and you know, he's for killing the bear, and him and Sam don't get along, and there's all this. But yeah, I mean, at one point, Pete goes, and the poachers you talked about, one of them's the brother of the guy that shot the cub or whatever. They're sneaking around trying to find the bear, and Pete will go confront him at one point, and they'll knock him over the head. And then Pete will wake up and the bear will chase him into a cave and, I guess kill him. That's what the editing is suggesting. And then later the poachers themselves will get killed and all this and that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's so poorly edited together. Like it jumps back and forth to different locations. You're like, where am I? What's going on? Because they didn't film much of the animatronic bear and they never went back and completed their special effects, the death sequences are mostly incomprehensible. They're just like edits of, you know, you get some of the bear POV, which is kind of funny because like for the bear POV, I mean, they did it a little bit in the last movie, but the bear POV, like the camera, they put it on a crane like way up above the ground. Like the bear's supposed to be like 18 feet tall or something. This crane shot is like 30 feet above the ground, but they have the bear POV, and they did do some cool things, like even back in the 80s, the footage they filmed in the 80s, where like the camera chases the people around, in the bear POV and stuff, but they don't have the footage of like the actual bear attack, like where you would, like in the first movie, you would see the disembodied paw coming down and swiping at people, or you would have a couple of times a guy dressed in a bear costume hugging people, or, you know, you would have the bear on set that you could cut back and forth and you could get, you know, they could do tricks to give you kind of reaction shots of the bear, or he could at least be walking on the set with the same prop so that you got the feeling that they were on the same, in the same location, even if they cut it to where the actor and the bear never had to be on the same shot, but you got the feeling they were in the same place. Here, we don't have any of that. There's one scene, it was hilarious, where they go and he like shoots the wrong bears, and they insert shots like, and it's like a nighttime or like dusky scene, right?
Yeah.
And they insert shot just like nature shots of bears, but it's like full bright daylight, and the bears are just like sitting there like sleepy.
Yeah.
And it was just hilarious. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
It's rough.
It's rough.
Then there's that subplot about with the head ranger's daughter.
Oh yeah, there's this whole thing felt maybe a little dated where
Yeah.
the ranger's daughter, who the age gap between Nick and his daughter didn't look that big, but whatever. His daughter Chrissy, was that her name? Works as like a
Well, that was a poorly, edited thing where they just hired her on the spot.
yeah, she's like working at the concert, and the Richard Pryor looking guy is like hitting on her. And you felt there might have been a little racial tension with like Nick's like, I don't want my daughter sleeping with this black guy. But yeah, there is that. But, again, doesn't really go anywhere. But
I don't think they had all the footage for that.
yeah. But the second half of this movie, is, again, they got to pad this runtime to make this feature length. Still not really feature length by, I think today's standards, typically 80 minutes is minimum, but whatever. So much of this second half is B-roll footage of the concert. And a lot of it was shot back then. They just literally just set up a camera during the concert and filmed the crowd.
Yeah.
And then some of it is like they've shot, obviously in the modern day. And there's like, you'll have like the old 80s footage of like the fake bands or whatever up on stage, I'm guessing right after Nazareth, and the crowd. Then you'll have all the crowd shots.
Because you can tell when it's the 80s because they have it wide shot.
They have the wide shots of the crowd.
With the fake artist singing. And then, when it's the new stuff, because it has a very close up.
It's an in tight shot with it's like when you see the artist, it's like a bad music video, and then the in tight shots of the crowd of just like a handful of people.
Yeah, just like the front row of the crowd, and then you cut back to another scene where it's just like this wide shot about all these people and this weird, horrible.
Oh yeah,
artists.
it's hard to believe because like none of these people on stage would draw this crowd. Like they start with this horrible female band. Sing, what were they singing about that we were
Coconut water?
Oh, no. Get the coconut milk or
coconut milk.
Something like that. It's an awful song. There's this one guy that goes on stage in like a crop top.
Yeah.
And was he the guy that they like had facing? Well, no. Was it him that they had like facing away from the camera because he obviously couldn't play the guitar?
Facing away like from the crowd. So
I think that was during like their warm up stuff when he was doing that.
No, that was during.
Oh, was it during the performance?
That was during the concert performance.
Okay.
That they had him facing away from the crowd so they couldn't, see he didn't know what he was doing.
And then there was this one guy. I don't know, like this Prince wannabe with like the gold.
Yeah, he was like the headliner.
Shoulder pads
he was
or whatever.
Their headliner.
Oh yeah. And it was.
He wouldn't even. He was like some.
Yeah.
Singing some like Russian German song or something.
Yeah. And there was literally at one point there was like a literal music video from a new that they filmed like newer.
Yeah.
And it was also terrible. And it had a whole bunch of insert shots of this chick whipping her hair back and forth like Willow or something.
Yeah, that's.
But no, that all and literally we get like 20 minutes. Like if you totaled it all up, 20 minutes of B-roll concert footage. I mean, man, they were padding that runtime. And we get some more insert shots of like drone footage and stuff.
And in the drone footage, that's like 40 minutes of the movie.
I want to say, I think they probably had 50 minutes of 80s footage and about 30 minutes of either concert B-roll footage or new footage, nature footage. And it's all bad. But basically, to get to the end, Louise Fletcher's character, her name, they had her credited as Dragon. It's a weird name. But Nurse Ratched has invited her like Washington guests, and they're here to watch the concert. And the concert's underway, and the bear, it's so edited so poorly because they clearly didn't finish shooting it. The bear goes to the concert, and then somehow the fireworks get set off. I don't know if the bear did it or what, but they're going like the fireworks are going everywhere.
It's a very bad edited scene. There's this worker there.
Yeah.
That gets spooked, and then suddenly it cuts to all the fireworks going off.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably wanted an insert shot of the worker getting spooked and dropping a lighter or something, but they just didn't film that bit.
Pressing the, sometimes they have, on those cons they have like buttons.
Yeah,
that they press.
The buttons or whatever. But no one actually
did anything
in the concert is noticing it. They just think it's part of the show, I guess, even though stuff is catching on fire and all this, but whatever. And then the bear attacks.
Well, it's happening behind the
stage,
so they can't really see any of the fire.
The bear attacks. John Rhys Davies goes up, and they had this big bear prop statue thing that he stabbed, and again, they didn't finish filming it, so they really didn't have the coverage for it, but we're to assume he gets swiped and launched onto a
he kind of
pole that's sticking out or something.
Yeah.
And then it's so badly edited together because again they just didn't have the footage. But Nick he gets in a forklift at one point and drives into the bear.
Towards the
bear, and then he gets off. The forklift falls over. I think if we were to get read the script, I bet the bear knocked the forklift over. But whatever.
And he jumped off of it.
Yeah, and then he's. I guess what I gather, and again they didn't film it, and they didn't have the footage for it. What I gather is he led the bear into the electrical circuits.
Well, cause at first they didn't even show him getting off the forklift.
Yeah.
They just showed it exploding. So at first you're like, did he just die in a forklift explosion?
Yeah.
And then it just cuts back to him running up the stairs, and you're like, how did he get there?
Yeah. And then it's the funniest thing because they have a very brief insert shot of the bear it looks like caught in the scaffolding of the stage, and then you have a shot of Louise Fletcher looking kind of shocked, and she's like, I guess she says something about I guess that's part of the show, and then it cuts to credits.
No, it was the representatives that said, "Is that part of the show?" She's like, "Yeah, that's part of the yeah." And she's looked confused. She's like, "Yeah, that's part of the show."
And then it I think it goes maybe get some more nature shots and then it cuts to credits or whatever.
No, it doesn't do that. It just cuts straight to credits.
And I was so confused. I was like, what just happened?
It did that scene in this straight to credits.
Yeah.
They're like, get this movie over with.
Another thing I didn't talk about it, but they clearly went back and ADR'd all the dialogue, dubbed all the dialogue when they went to do the re-release.
Yeah.
And it's not good.
No.
It's pretty bad. I mean, I will say the voice actress they have dubbing Louise Fletcher does sound a lot like Louise Fletcher, so I'll give them props for that. But overall, no, the ADR is really bad.
I don't think they had I bet the audio was terrible.
I mean, they probably, I bet they never went back to do the audio recordings in the ADR originally in the 80s, so they had to do it all from scratch. But the lips don't match a lot of the time, especially. Now, in the close-up scenes, the lip syncing is not too bad, but in the wider shots, they might not even have known what the characters were saying in the original script, so they might have just been guessing. But the lip, whatever they're dubbing over, obviously is not matching up. And also, there's no, depth to the audio. A character, way in the background is at the same volume level as characters way in the foreground.
Yeah, because you get confused of who's talking, because there'll be person in the background, and you're like, oh, they talking? Because it's, really loud, and you're like, that doesn't sound like them talking.
Yeah. So they did not do a very good job with that. Even though, like I said, they did a really good job restoring the film.
They got, the most unedited cut that this movie ever created.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably literally all the footage they have. This is the assembly cut.
It's they literally filmed it and then handed it over without editing it.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no editing or anything, I think, in the
so
original.
they probably had to, do that whole ADR because they're like, they listened to it and there's like all the bloopers and everything all put together.
Yeah, I don't think they did any editing or post-production in the 80s. I think, what I'd say their name was, when this Gravitas Pictures got it, they just had the raw footage and they had to assemble the movie.
They're like, oh.
An incomplete movie, obviously. So, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. But anyway,
They tried.
You want to do some creature design?
Sure.
Well, like I said, we get, like, I think really honestly, one shot of an animatronic bear, probably test footage of the bear that they never intended to use, but it's the only shot they have, so they reuse it several times in this movie. And then, like I said, we get several insert shots of actual bears from like a nature documentary or something. And so the design of the bear is all over the place, but it's supposed to be 18 feet tall. We get a lot of bear POV and stuff like that, but you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's not there, is what it is. But effects, I mean, again, that opening sequence with the CGI bullet and the CGI blood splatter is awful. It looks awful. And then we don't really have any real gore, like, because they didn't film most of the bear attack scenes because they had planned to do it with special effects later.
Yeah.
So there's not really any gore in the bear kills. I mean, we see John Rhys Davies getting impaled with that pole or whatever. And we have a quick insert shot of that bear caught in the wires or the scaffolding or whatever. But really, you know, aside from that bad CGI bullet and blood splatter, not a lot in the effects department. But I will, again, commend them for the restoration of the film itself. The film looks high quality. Now, the ADR and all that is terrible. Editing's terrible, all that. And then the score, all stock music. And it feels so out of place. It's like epic trailer music, right? Put to like this 80s film. And it just feels like so out of place and so distracting. And it's so terrible. But yeah.
Yeah.
You want to give some final thoughts?
Yeah.
Go for it.
This movie, it's atrocious.
Yeah.
It's I guess they tried the best they could at assembling what they considered a film out of this.
Yeah.
But, you know, they just didn't have what they needed to have for, you know, making this a comprehensible film for most of the movie. So they just, you know, got some, you know, the film, edited the best they can to make it look halfway passable, and slapped it on there and said, good luck. This is what you're gonna get from film. And they're like, and now you don't have to film 30-40 minutes of drone footage and concert stuff to fill the rest of it in. This is what we could salvage. Film the rest.
The rest is up to you.
Rest up to you. And the ADR, like you said, it's horrible. The effects, non-existent.
Yeah.
The editing, choppy is an understatement.
Yeah.
I've seen choppy editing, and then you go to Grizzly II.
This is like incomprehensible. Yeah.
But I'll give this movie, just because, I don't know, I think I had to give it an F.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is not a real movie, right? This is a novelty. This is somebody had tried to film a sequel to a cheesy creature feature from the 70s, and they tried to film it in the 80s in Hungary for cheap. It got lost, and then someone found it in the mid 2000s, and it garnered some traction online. And so some company bought it, put a little bit of money into it to try to flesh it out to feature length, and then released it straight to video. So I try to think of it more as of a novelty than judge it as a real movie, because it's not a real movie. They don't have they didn't have a complete movie. I mean, I know they shot for 45 days in Hungary, but clearly either they didn't finish shooting because the coverage is not there, the attack scenes are not there, or some of it got lost, in the intervening decades or whatever. But yeah, because this is not a complete movie. Like I said, the coverage shots are not there, the insert shots are not there. There's feels like whole scenes missing. Obviously, they had planned to do most of the bear stuff in post, and they never got to post, so the bear stuff isn't there. So yeah, it's not a complete movie. And the way they went about trying to fill in the runtime, I think, was a bad choice. They get us drone shots that obviously don't mesh with this footage shot in the 80s. Some terrible nature documentary stuff. 20 minutes of B-roll footage from this concert, intercut with, new scene shot with, new bands and new crowd members and stuff like that don't mesh with the old stuff. And yeah, they don't have a complete movie, and it's bad. Like I said, the dubbing is bad. There's very little in the way of the bear, which is obviously what we're here for. I mean, very little blood splatter or anything like that. The animatronic bear is barely on screen, and the editing is awful. It's choppy. It feels like scenes are out of place because they are. And then a lot of times, like the news, like when they try to edit in news shot scenes, the lighting doesn't match, and the film quality doesn't match. And it's just, it's very distracting. The stock music they use is very distracting. It sounds like it's definitely does not sound like it belongs here in this movie. So yeah, it's terrible. I'm not going to give it an F because I did enjoy it as like a novelty. It's like, oh, look, here's an early role from Laura Dern, George Clooney, and Charlie Sheen all together in one scene. Even though it was literally one scene. Here's Nurse Ratched herself, Louise Fletcher, and John Rhys Davies cashing in paychecks. And then just seeing how they tried to salvage this movie was, I mean, I was kind of entertained by how badly it was done. So I'll give it like a D, just like for the novelty of it. But yeah, I mean, it's a terrible film. If you're thinking of it as an actual film, it doesn't work. But yeah. Anyway, I don't really have any news. We are going to be doing a movie I've talked about several times, Razorback, coming up. I did read the novel. It's been several weeks now. I may have forgot some of the finer details, but I did read the novel, so I'm excited to see how the movie matches up. I'm hoping not at all to spoil my thoughts on the novel. And then we'll be doing sharks. We got a shark summer ahead of us. Jaws and Deep Blue Sea and all the crappy sequels for both of those franchises. And so, yeah, a lot of fun. But Andrew, do you have anything you want to talk about?
Well, I think that's pretty much it for this week.
All right. Well, don't forget that we have another podcast. It's called Pulse Check, a horror movie podcast, where right now we're doing mummy and ancient ruin horror films, related horror films. So check us out on that. But as far as this podcast goes, you can always email us at stompthisway1954@gmail.com.
And you can find our website at www.stompthisway.wordpress.com.
That's right. And you can also find us on X, Instagram, and Facebook at Stomp This Way. And all that information is also in the show notes below. But again, next week will be Razorback. So check that movie out. And as always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Andrew.
And we'll see you next time.